She was the most photographed woman on Earth, the platinum blonde who made presidents sweat, the smile plastered on 1,000 magazine covers. The world thought it knew Marilyn Monroe. They didn't know a thing. Behind the sequined dresses was a woman drowning. In secrets so explosive, they allegedly got her killed. In traumas so deep, they rewired her personality. And in connections to power so dangerous, the FBI watched her every move. Here are 15 revelations, some dark, some heartbreaking, some jaw-dropping. And number 9, nobody talks about it. If you've never subscribed, now is the time, because this is exactly the kind of story we dig up every week. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss one. And if you think you already know Marilyn Monroe's story, drop a comment below before you finish reading. Then come back and tell us if you still feel the same way. Revelation 1. Abandoned at 2 weeks old and never truly recovered. Born June 1st, 1926, baby Norma Jeane was placed with strangers when barely 2 weeks old. Her mother, Gladys Baker, lacked the stability to raise her. Over the next decade, she passed through at least 11 foster homes and spent time in the Los Angeles Orphans Home Society. She once said, "I was never used to being happy, so that wasn't something I was sort of counting on." That sentence tells you everything about the wound she carried into stardom. Revelation 2. Her mother tried to kidnap her in a duffel bag. Gladys Baker was eventually diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, but before her institutionalization, she visited 3-year-old Norma Jeane's foster home, locked the foster mother out, and tried to smuggle her daughter away, stuffed inside a duffel bag. The foster mother chased them down and stopped the escape. Both women were, in different ways, prisoners of a situation neither could escape. Revelation 3. She was sexually abused, and nobody believed her. During her foster care years, a male lodger sexually assaulted her. When she told her foster mother, the woman slapped her and told her not to say such things about that nice man. The trauma triggered a stutter that stayed with her throughout her life. Biographers confirm the memory haunted her to her dying day. Revelation 4. She married at 16 to avoid the orphanage. When her foster family had to leave California, state law prevented them from taking her. Their solution: arrange a marriage. 21-year-old neighbor James Dougherty agreed. Days after her 16th birthday, Norma Jeane became a wife, not out of love, but to stay out of an institution. The woman who became a global sex symbol was, at her core, a teenager who married a stranger out of desperation. Revelation 5. She called Hollywood an overcrowded brothel. Long before #MeToo, Marilyn was already naming the monster. Her words were devastating. "I met them all. Phoniness and failure were all over them. Some were vicious and crooked. You saw Hollywood with their eyes. An overcrowded brothel." Author Michelle Morgan, who spent 30 years studying Monroe's life, revealed that Marilyn navigated the casting couch multiple times, a predatory system with no protection and no safety net. Revelation 6. Joe DiMaggio was physically abusive. Their marriage was sold as a fairy tale. Behind closed doors, DiMaggio was controlling, jealous, and physically abusive. During filming of the famous subway grate scene for The 7-Year Itch, DiMaggio watched from the sidelines, furious at the crowds cheering his wife. According to witnesses, he beat her that night. She filed for divorce 9 months after the wedding, citing mental cruelty. The nation wept for the lost romance. Nobody talked about the bruises. Revelation 7. The FBI watched her for a decade. Marilyn Monroe had a real FBI file, over 100 pages of surveillance reports and classified memos released under the Freedom of Information Act. Interest began after her relationship with playwright Arthur Miller, who who was suspected of communist sympathies. Agents tracked her movements and monitored her associations with left-leaning circles. The files describe Monroe as very vulnerable, a woman considered a national security concern not because she was dangerous, but because of the men she loved. Revelation 8. She had affairs with both JFK and RFK simultaneously. The rumors have swirled for 60 years. The Netflix documentary, The Mystery of Marilyn Monroe. The unheard tapes, built on 650 interviews, directly confirmed Marilyn was romantically involved with both President Kennedy and Attorney General Robert Kennedy in 1961 to 62. According to an FBI memo, Robert Kennedy had repeatedly promised to divorce his wife to be with Monroe. She was not a casual fling, and these were not men she could afford to become a problem for. Revelation 9. JFK may have told her about UFOs, and it may have gotten her killed. This is where the story enters something far darker. Investigative author Nick Redfern examined declassified documents suggesting that Kennedy, during private moments with Monroe, revealed classified government intelligence, including alleged knowledge of a crashed UFO and recovered materials from the Roswell incident. Researchers circulated what became known as the Marilyn Monroe UFO Memo, a purported CIA document referencing conversations suggesting Monroe knew of a government cover-up involving extraterrestrial craft. Its authenticity remains disputed. What is not disputed? When Monroe's body arrived at the morgue in August 1962, a thick personal diary was found among her possessions. Days later, men in suits arrived and removed it. It was never seen again. Revelation 10. Her death scene made no sense. Official verdict: acute barbiturate poisoning. Probable suicide. Case closed. Except it wasn't. The doctor who performed her autopsy later admitted in his 1983 memoir that not all the details could ever be known with certainty. The 1982 Los Angeles DA reinvestigation found FBI files so heavily censored that full conclusions were impossible. Joan Rivers, who spent time with Monroe in her final years, was blunt. Sure, she had problems, but none of the story of her death stacks up. I blame the Kennedys. Revelation 11. The FBI may have to known about a sex tape. A 1965 FBI memo sent to Director Hoover noted that an informant had seen a film depicting Monroe committing a perverted act upon an unknown male. The person claiming to possess it had allegedly been offered $25,000 by Joe DiMaggio to acquire it. Whether the film existed, whether DiMaggio obtained it, and what the FBI did, all of it remains unresolved. The memo exists. The answers don't. Revelation 12. Her real father was hidden from her. Marilyn's birth certificate listed a man her mother had separated from before Marilyn was conceived. Her real father is believed to have been a studio co-worker named Charles Stanley Gifford. Monroe reportedly tried to contact him after becoming famous. He refused to see her. She spent her entire life without a father, not even knowing with certainty who he was. Add that to the roster of abandonments, and you begin to understand the specific shape of her pain. Revelation 13. Her brilliant mind was deliberately hidden. The dumb blonde was one of Hollywood's great confidence tricks, and Monroe was both its performer and its victim. Joan Rivers sat next to her at a dinner party and came away stunned, later recalling that Marilyn was far brighter than anyone ever thought. Monroe read voraciously, studied at the Actors Studio in New York, co-founded her own production company, and rewrote her own scripts. She told one friend, "I know I'm a manufactured look, but I also hope I give some hope to the ordinary girls like me. Revelation 14. She was fired and sued. Weeks before she died, 2 months before her death, 20th Century Fox fired Monroe from Something's Got to Give over absences, then sued her for $500,000. Her last films had underperformed. Both marriages had collapsed. Her marriage to Miller marked by at least 3 miscarriages. The Kennedy brothers were reportedly pulling away. In her final weeks, Marilyn Monroe was professionally destroyed, romantically discarded, and psychologically shattered. Revelation 15. Even in death, she was never really hers. After she died, the exploitation accelerated. Her image was licensed, her likeness commercialized, her most private moments dissected and sold. The men who had loved her fell silent. The FBI, after years of surveillance, did nothing when she may have needed actual protection. Her diary never resurfaced. The questions around her death were never answered. The world consumed Marilyn Monroe voraciously in life and has never stopped in death. Norma Jeane, the waif from the orphanage who dreamed of being a movie star, never really got to rest. 15 revelations. One woman. A story Hollywood didn't want told. Marilyn Monroe was never just a sex symbol. She was a survivor who didn't survive, a genius disguised as a bombshell, and a woman who knew too much in a world run by men who wanted her silent. So here's the question we're leaving you with. Do you think her death was really a suicide, or something far more sinister? Drop your answer in the comments. We read every single one. And if this story shook you the way it shook us, share it with someone who thinks they know everything about Marilyn Monroe. Bet they don't know number 9. There's plenty more where this came from. Stories the industry buried, secrets governments tried to erase, and lives far more complicated than the headlines ever told. Subscribe now and join a community that refuses to accept the official version of anything. Norma Jeane deserved better. The least we can do is tell the truth.